NFL Sunday previews continue at pregame.tv. We got the Jets at the Patriots. The Patriots laying 10.5 points. This is Brian Leonard's free pick. Brian, first want to say congratulations on your win last week at the Cantor Racing Sportsbooks contest. You'll be one of, 8 that have moved on by the time this first round is done, in the Elite 8. But we're going to talk about this Jets-Patriots game for just a moment. First of all, before we started shooting this video, I went on a Sportsbook Spy, and I saw that this by far is the most bet game on Sunday so far as tickets written on a side. And it might surprise you a little bit that the Jets actually have 52% of the ATS action in this one.
You never want to be on the side of a big underdog that the public happens to like, which is a good thing in my case. And, earlier we did another video, and my friend Scott Spreitzer takes a 21-point road favorite in college football.
What's wrong with that guy?
I decided I could take a double-digit favorite in the NFL, and I'll be on New England here. We all know that Belichick over the years has been terrific off of a loss. They come into this game 3-3 on the season. Actually, if you take a look at their yards per play, they've actually been outgained on the season in yards per play. You never see that for New England, which may be a reason why people are betting the other side here going down. But I'm like no part of the Jets. You take a look at the Jets, the last 3 times they played New England in this game, New England's beaten them by a combined 70 points. Bill Belichick's, let's just call him a hateful man. If he doesn't like it, he's going to run up a score. He can run up a score.
And he doesn't like Rex Ryan?
He doesn't like just about anybody from what I understand. Well, Rex Ryan doesn't have the horses this year. He's had better teams in the past. And we won when the Jets played Houston in that easy winner a couple Monday Night Football games ago. But then they played Indianapolis last week, and that was really a must-win game. And one of the games that I won in the contest, 4-3. Good enough to advance, but we'll take it. But, so it's a bad spot here for the Jets. New England, awful loss. You always got to look that way. And, it doesn't surprise me that the line is this high, but it's actually better for me when I see the public is on the dog, because normally they just ride New England whatever the line is.
That's what I was a little bit surprised about, that it is almost even betting down the middle as far as the amount of tickets coming in New York, a little bit ahead, getting 52% of those tickets thus far. So I was just a little surprised that the public wouldn't jump in on New England also, and maybe they didn't see what actually happened in that New England-Seattle game, Marco, because New England outgained Seattle 475 to 368. They had 3 trips in the red zone that amounted to a grand total of 3 points. And I really thought they lost that game because of the arrogance, the Belichick-Brady arrogance that sometimes propels this team to being better than they are, but at times hurts them. It did this time. That play, that decision at the end of the first half, when they're inside the 10-yard line, instead of kicking a field goal with 5 seconds left, they decide, let's try one more play. Brady has to throw the ball out of bounds and gets called for intentional grounding. And, of course, inside 10 seconds, you run the 10 seconds off the clock, and they go to the half without getting that field goal. Ended up being hugely important to the decision of this game. So, moronic, costly mistake. Doesn't normally happen out of Belichick and Brady 2 weeks in a row.
No, it doesn't. And go back to one thing, though, that you guys talked about, the dog. Do you think a lot of this, with 52% being on the dog here, is that everybody, whether you're on Twitter, you're talking in the talk shows around town, ESPN, everybody knows the way the dogs are covering this year in the NFL. And so everybody wants to run to what, the hot trend is. And I've been doing this, you guys, this is probably the first video shoot that nobody's made an age joke yet about me today, but
it goes without saying at this point. Sorry, that was an age joke.
Yeah, I got that. But I've been doing this for 33 years, and every year it doesn't matter whether something gets off to a 70% start, 75. By the time the season's done, it's somewhere between 52 and 48%. Whether it's the dogs, the favorites, the overs, the unders, it's just everything seems to balance the books. And we know this isn't going to continue, but the public, they want to jump on the hot trend. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of people with the Jets here. And I got to agree. Look at the Jets. One thing you didn't mention about last week's game, it was a must-win for the Jets, no question. But Indianapolis, I thought, was in an absolute horrible spot last week.
Coming off the huge come-from-behind win, definitely.
Come-from-behind win, the emotion of the rallying around the coach. It was the first game where, his illness was announced, and everybody, kind of, I don't want to use the phrase, but, win one for the Gipper type thing. There was a natural letdown there. And you go to New England, they did everything but actually win the game. It was an absolute horrible spot for the New England Patriots last week. They were playing their third game of 4 on the road, and they had to travel all the way across country to play a non-conference team after that big New England game. I think New England should roll. The only hesitation I have, and I'm going to ask you, Brian, because this is your free pick, do you have any concerns that New England goes to London next week?
I think a veteran team is not going to be concerned with that. If it was a younger team, especially if it's a younger team that's out of playoff contention or off to a bad start to the season, let's just say a Cincinnati Bengals type of organization, I'd definitely be concerned. But Belichick's not going to have them looking past.
I think after what happened last week, Dave never even heard of London, England. I mean, I'm serious. It's so far, I think, out of there.
It is actually far.
What I was trying to say is
no
so
geography jokes that can get you.
Yeah, that's true. It's so far off of their slate right now. I mean, they don't care about where they're going next week. They're going to care about this game, and Brian made a great point. It doesn't hurt who Belichick's going to be staring at across the field when this game kicks off. I think this is the perfect, sweet elixir, perfect storm, whatever else you want to call it, as far as refocusing the Patriots on the task at hand. And the bad spots that you mentioned New England was in last week, they still gained almost 500 yards of offense.
They overcome all the adversity and still have a great game.
Anyway, it's Brian's free pick. Brian.
Marco stole a little bit of my thunder on this because I was going to touch on how the underdogs have done so far in the NFL, and he's always steals my chicken wings too on Monday nights.
And they're free.
And they're free. I know. I offer to buy him every week, and he takes it up on me, and then buys next time I go out for steak. It's a great deal. But another thing I want to take a look at is line value here. And if we go back 2 weeks ago, the Jets were at home Monday Night Football, getting 10 from Houston. Now they're on the road to New England, getting roughly the same 10.5 points, which would make a 6-point differential between Houston and New England. There's not a 6-point differential between Houston and New England. In fact, if you were like me and you had Houston last week, maybe a 6-point differential the other way. So we're going to take New England here off of a loss, and they've dominated the Jets in the past. I can't see it not happening again. We'll take New England. We'll lay the chalk here.
New England 28-10-1 against the spread off a straight-up loss. Aaron Hernandez is back. Gronkowski's back. And the Jets have nobody to throw the ball to. They're talking about Tebow being a running back this week now, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, Brian's pick is the New England Patriots minus the points. We've got more NFL to come all weekend long right here at pregame.tv.